Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, Rising VTuber and artist, and today we're gonna be drawing some faces. So the idea for today's stream is that very recently this expression, this one right here, has recently become rather famous. Oh, very, 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 very funny story behind all that, etc. But I kind of wanted that gave me the idea to think for a minute, and I realized that there's actually quite a lot of expressions that I really like from VTubers, right? Like, obviously, part of the big appeal, well, for most of us, for most VTubers, is that they have like a very expressive faces. So I kind of wanted to see if I could do something with that. I'm not sure how to go about this. I kind of wanted to go into this with no plan, and I think that's still the best approach. So let's just do that. I don't even know if I want to do a sketch properly. No, I probably want to do a sketch. It's not a good idea. Like, listen, all right. I will be the first to say you don't need a plan when you want to do streaming and art and everything, but you do also very much need a plan. I don't know. It feels like it's been a while since I had a stream with a particular goal in mind, So I kind of wanted to have one with like a more specific focus and just getting this drawing done or something like that. I don't know. It feels good to occasionally just like stretch your legs artistically. I feel like our head is wider than this by like a small margin. I think the very much the main obstacle here is going to be the hair. So to give you a rough idea of like the level of polish these are going to have, it's not going to be very much. These are 100% going to be sketches because we got a few to go through. So that's why I'm going to try and speedrun these. I don't know. Whenever I draw somebody else's character, right, I get a little bit, and especially if that character is supposed to represent them. I feel like I want to treat the whole thing with like silk gloves because I am, it's like when people mispronounce your name or like they call you the wrong name. It doesn't feel like it feels like a part of your identity has felt weird, and I don't want to do that. I like that's a dichotomy, right? On the one hand, it's like 9 times out of 10. Like I'm talking 99 probably percent of the time. If you draw fan art for a VTuber, that's going to make their day because especially if it's like an indie VTuber, they are most small timers don't really get a lot of fan art. So that's why it's a very meaningful thing when you create that for them. And even if they're not small time, I'm still sure that people who even receive fan art, hundreds of fan arts each day, thousands, who knows how many, right at this point. I'm sure they still feel very special whenever they see that somebody's taken the time to draw them. So it's always a little bit of that, right? Like that kind of internal conflict of, oh my god, am I offending this person by drawing them like a ding dong? The ding dong in question being me, not the person that I'm drawing. But yeah, it's not even like a risk per se. It's almost like, what's that one phrase, like the horror of being known? It's a little bit like that. You kind of just gotta not even deal with it. Really, it's like it's part of just making things as somebody who makes things. I forgot she has the little hair thingies poking out. Also, I feel like the hair on this side could stand to be a little bit closer. Like she has a lot of jaw showing on the right hand side, but not that much. Okay, then that's just gonna be. I almost kind of want to add a little bit of a smile to it, right? Do you ever like? Okay, when you hear something like, have you ever been in a situation where you hear something and it's like very scandalous? So you're horrified, but at the same time you're like smiling a little bit, like you're thrilled about learning it. That's the kind of expression I want to make. I think mesh transformation should help us get to where I want to be. Hmm. I feel like I should be doing some of these other details on a different layer just so it doesn't conflict too much. Hmm. If I move this like directly over it, I think I understand. The one thing about working into different layers is that eventually you're gonna forget which layer you were working on. But that's a problem we'll leave for the future. Hmm. Maybe the head shape needs to be wider? Or, hang on. Yeah, a little bit like that. I am almost tempted to just like go for like full on cartoonish eyes. Maybe I should focus on that rather than the hair for the time being. That might be a good idea. Okay, let's do the expression first then. That might be the way to do it. So I want the eyes almost to look like they're bugging out a little bit too. Okay, is that just a random? Okay, no, I think that's her eyebrow right there. They're kind of hard to pin down. And said it's supposed to be a little bit more like this. That feels like it's get a lot closer than the previous one. Does that seem a little bit better? I know. I think I know what might be able to help us here as well. The liquefy tool. How's it going, Rice Master? We're getting there. We're starting with the Doki expression that was like the main catalyst for the stream, and I'm trying to work on the actual face parts first, and then see if we can graft that onto her hair. Hey, how are you, Cypress? Are you enjoying your Sunday? Doing fine. Still sick, but that's normal. Hope things flare down a little bit on your end soon. Then is that a phrase that people use? Flare down. Like I understand that you can flare up, but not that. I don't think you can flare down. Extinguish. Extinguish. I hope you. I hope it extinguishes soon. Making a whole new phrase. Fuck yeah. Linguistics is messy enough without me around, but I think it can stand to be a little bit messier. Flaring down. Ah. Also, I feel like this one should be a little bit further back. Okay, yeah, we have. I think this can work. We will, however, need to erase the mouth that was on the original draft. Why does this remind me so much of the Control Alt Delete phase? That can't be right. God, is Control Alt Delete still updating? I remember from where I left dropped off on it. I did read it before I knew that it was like a whole meme thing, right? Like, believe it or not, Control Alt Delete was an actual comic before it lost a hot JPEG happened. And I remember it not being like, well, actually, then again, I did read it when I was like a very impressionable teenager, so probably it was not as good as I thought I think it ended a while ago. Oh. Yeah, but yeah, last time I remember seeing that the artist for the comic had been mostly just been doing normal ass comics now. Like there was like the science fiction one that he started posting on the website. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good direction for his career to take, all things considered. You know, and as long as much as as much as like a project can be personal to you, it is also not meant to last forever. I think. Yeah, he's probably still making comics. That would make a lot of sense. I hope he's still making comics. I think it'd be kind of a shame if all that kind of turned him off from comics. Hang on, let me Google this real quick. Control. Let me get a Wikipedia on the horn for this. Web browser. Okay, Tim Buckley. Does Tim Buckley have a Wikipedia page? He does not. Okay. Other publishing. Nope. I feel like the popular culture section on Wikipedia is. Oh, no, okay. Wait, what? The Smiling Friends episode Pim finally turns green contains a reference to winter enemas, as Charlie uses it to leave Pim with Rotten the Snowman. Huh? What do you mean? Tim Buckley, not the American musician. Tim Buckley, author. Okay, so they do not cite him on any other works whatsoever. Bro might be cooked. Bro might be cooked. Hmm. Let me flip the canvas for a minute. Let me. I feel like there's something that's still bothering me about this. I feel like the mouth needs to be narrower and maybe not as low. The fang might be a little bit too high as well. I haven't watched Smiling Friends myself. I'm kind of saving that one for a rainy day or for when I'm finally unemployed. I don't know. I feel like that'll be a good show to binge watch. Although I do have a friend who's a decent fan on it of it. I can help you become unemployed. Unfortunately, I kind of love money a little bit too much for the time being, so I'll let you know if I have need of your services, V. I appreciate the offer though. Not optional? No! Fuck, I've Beetlejuiced myself into unemployment. Blessing you with the unemployment bean. I was kidding! I like making money, please! Please, finding another job in this economy, I'm cooked! I'm cooked! Listen, if I become unemployed, one of you is gonna have to take me in like some kind like a Renaissance artist and their patron. You unemploy it, you keep it. That's the motto around here. Microdosing on unemployment by taking a work vacation. It does feel like that. Honestly, it does. You're spitting with that one. I need her mug close to the part where I'm drawing to make sense of it. Hang on, there we go. But yeah, how's your weekend going, boss? Are you enjoying it? I know we've kind of hit the 5 p.m. on a Sunday threshold, so it's the kind of fear of returning to the workplace for next week is kind of setting in. My ass is cleaning. Nice. The cleaner. I get you though. I do think live streams and podcasts are peak cleaning, are peak cleaning listening stuff. If that makes any sense. Like you can listen to music when you clean and that works, but I feel like having the experience of like somebody just talking at length while you busy your hands is much more effective to me. I don't know. If I'm if I'm thinking, I like music. If I'm just working with my hands, I like having like a podcast or something. I didn't notice this when I was drawing her the first time. I like how Doki's eyelashes are just like two huge chevrons. That fucking rules, actually. Design of all time for real. Yeah, she could peel it off and stab someone. God. Yeah, she has as like a defensive mechanism, like how a lizard can drop their tail. Her eyelashes can just shoot out like a poison dart. They are a venomous barb. They like it's been studied. It's like how platypi have venomous barbs. That's like her venomous barb. I forgot the eyelashes on this side. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about. Has anybody tried doing that, like the VTuber defensive mechanism power scaling tier list? Because I feel like like a lot of people have like theoretical mechanisms that could assist them in survival. Like I know Jay has her tusks for killing, right? Well, that has been established that she has killing tusks for murder. But like for example, like what would I don't know, fucking Noir Vesper, who a very famously dead person who is not at all active in the current date and time. What would he have as a defensive mechanism? Like he has, like he's supposed to have to own a crossbow and shit, but like I feel like he doesn't have any the rabbit tusks. Uh, Jay's things are like those like side locks that she has. You know these things. Those are apparently tusks, from what I've come to understand. I don't know. Which VTuber is most likely to be capable of shooting out blood from their eyes, like that freaky ass lizard, whose name I don't know, but whose defensive mechanism I very clearly remember? Because what the fuck, who does that? I know the phrase. Like I know that a lot, like one of the big things for the as proof of the existence, her neck is so long. Like a lot of people are like, yeah, no, evolution doesn't have any like useless traits, you know, and that's obviously not true. I don't know, like what leads you to be able to shoot blood from out of your eyes? What kind of set of circumstances? Like, could a Peepaw lizard like shoot out like? Was he just really good at crying, and now all of a sudden you're able to do like Isaac rebirth type shit with your own blood? Oh, hey Leo, we're talking about defensive mechanisms that some VTubers could have. There be some specific ass circumstances in this world. You know what? That's true. Absolutely. Actually. Could AG Ollie decapitates herself like a lizard, leaving her behind its tail? Yeah. She has it as a special escape mechanism, but then she forgets that her head is like the part that people generally want? The VTuber that was third wheeling on Apex? Yep. Yeah, that's exactly that's a very good, accurate summary of what of the circumstances leading to this picture. I explained this. My parents were asking me if anything funny had happened recently, and I got to explain to them the circumstances leading up to this, and they were laughing their ass off. Ay, ay, ay. She was fourth wheeling because that motherfucker Peter was there too. Peter was not in the Valorant match, I don't think. He was like beside her playing Minecraft, which is arguably worse. I wish the third wheel in an exciting situation like hers. God, I've seen what you've done for others. I feel like if we play TF2 often enough, that's gonna happen for us. He was playing World of Warcraft. I think he was playing Minecraft actually, which I think is one of the funniest games you could play. Like, the bro was wearing a propeller hat and having like a giant swirly lollipop, while his girlfriend was out here creating what is potentially like a flashpoint event for this mutual friend of theirs. Funnily enough, I do feel like you would. I don't know. Is Final Fantasy 14 good for third wheeling? I know there's like a lot of like couples and RP on that. game. So I'm wondering if maybe it might be it might be worth it just for the hot goss to open up an account. Apparently, the guy that was trying to rizz her up did not keep in contact with her 2 years prior. Holy. No idea. Everybody in the world just wants you to play it. I'm not gonna lie. I have intended to play Final Fantasy 14, but I also recognize that if I try to fit an MMORPG into my schedule as it is, I'm going to die. No ifs, ands, or buts. My body will disintegrate. I'm gonna pay my first subscription fee, and fucking the archangel that watches over my shoulder shall descend from heaven and take me with him to my final destination. And I'll be like, no, please, I was so close to making a Lalafell. And he'll be like, it is time for you to go, my son. I'm very happy for. And the thing is, right? I don't play Final Fantasy 14 myself, but I do appreciate the bits that people from that community create. Apparently the most recent expansion, there's this lizard guy called Bakul Jaja. And first of all, that's a fucking amazing name. And second of all, everybody wants to fuck this two-headed lizard dude, which is, I don't know. I feel like that's almost like third wheeling for me. Knowing that everybody's down bad for this giant two-headed lizard dude. I don't know. It's enrichment for me. It helps me to keep my pulse on the finger of society. It's the same reason I follow Fujoshis on Twitter. How else am I going to be aware of everything that's happening in the world? Who else should I get? What other reliable source of news is there? Okay, then switch this around like this. God, the fact that the guy hadn't kept contact with the girl that he was trying to rizz up for the past 2 years before that as well is also just, I don't know, it adds some real texture to the situation. This is no longer just some dude who was shyly warming up to this girl. This is now just some motherfucker in the Scorpion movie Drive, in the Scorpion jacket from Drive, holding up a boombox outside this girl's house, thinking that he was she was the one that got away, but she's just been living her best life with Peter. Bro's got the Paris jacket on. Nah, the Platinum Barks jacket is now my holy grail. I think that's gonna be. I'm gonna be thinking about that thing for a while. You've introduced a catastrophic super predator into the ecosystem of my wardrobe, boss. with the unveiling of the eBay clothing listings. Because, and I cannot stress this enough, let me pull up a picture of it. I think it should still be in the insane bullshit quarantine. I'm redesigning V as we speak. Understandable, 100% a valid reaction. You take a look at this article of clothing. The Barks Root Beer Platinum Jacket. Oh my god? What more? What can I say to you to convince you further that this is not one of the greatest articles of clothing ever devised? If instead of fig leaves, I need a mug version in bronze or gold. Now I'm just imagining a bunch of people in metallic jackets. One person wearing the Barks jacket, one person wearing the Mugs jacket, and the third person wearing I don't know. What's that one soda brand in Canada that makes on everything? Big Eight. The Big Eight jacket guy is definitely wearing the bronze one. I want to imagine that it's like almost like a rusted copper color rather than actual bronze. Like you can see a little bit of bronze underneath, but like you can tell that his is a little bit of a knockoff. I still can't get over how insane it is that her hair just is feathers now. I feel like that's a very good way to introduce like the bird aspect of her name. She's a bird? I think so. I'm going to out myself as a little bit of a poser here. I don't actually watch that many Doki Bird streams. Uh, She's just fun to draw. Doki Bird, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, but like I feel like her outfit before this one, right, the blue one, didn't really communicate that much of a birdness. It did not have the qualities that I would ascribe to a bird. That's true. Croaky was a thing. She did have a 3D model where she was a crow, and she laughed. She basically laughed herself sick at seeing how the crow model moves, which I think is something we can all relate to. Don't worry, I don't keep up with any VTubers. My man. Sadly, that is also me nowadays. I feel like I've fallen off from being in the VTuber trenches. I'm, I've tapped my finger on the pulse of society in regards to yaoi, but not in regards to not in regards to VTubers. Sadly, I got all my news from secondhand sources. I mean, I've been watching more and more Northern Lion clips. I feel like that should count in a roundabout way. Kind of like how birds and dinosaurs are kind of the same-ish thing. Both have like pre-reptilian qualities. Anawasi, hey Anawasi. Northern Lion is a VTuber of white guys. True. It's gotten real bad. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, whenever I see somebody with like a bald model and they're like pale, I'm like, oh hey, nice Northern Lion reference. Northern Lion is like if a VTuber was a real flesh and blood man. If a VTuber was a bald guy, precisely. You understand. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna draw the bottom of the shirt. I'm gonna keep this to like shoulders up levels of detail. I feel like that's the best way to keep this moving. Okay, there's 2 stars on each side of the lapel. Okay, well, taking away the references and everything else, does that make sense, like, from a... what do you call... anatomy perspective? Let's flip the canvas real quick and see... Okay, so for example, the mouth should be a little bit more forward, I think. The hair feels good, the shoulder does not. What's up with that? Maybe we just kind of shrink this other side of the jacket. That feels a little better. I feel like our head's also a little bit too big. How's that look when we flip it back? All right, I think I can work on it from here. So I think the first step is going to be. So, like I said, I kind of wanted to keep the properties of this one simple. So here's what let's do. Let's pop on a white background for a minute, and then what we can do is mostly monochrome, I think. My eye, my fault. It shouldn't last too long. Okay, so then we're gonna just keep adding. Actually, let's make this like a lighter color, and then we can use a darker color for the jacket. Whoops. There we go. I don't know if it's just like the bias towards the scarf. I kind of associate this model with like a more orange color. So I'm going to make that the most vivid one. I think that's a good way to approach it, is that I just have a very few really vivid colors and then mostly monochrome on it. And I think a good final touch might be to add in some additional detail on the eyes. I can add a little bit more detail as well once we're just clearing this one up, just so we have the little eye sparkles here. Because those are really cute. I like those. And also, let's do one more thing. Let's just blend in a color between these two. Just so we have a nice color for the eyelashes here that's not completely blended in. Okay, then our next step in our master plan. I wanted to. Okay, so let's see if this works. I've seen a style that I recently really liked, where they use a very, very, very soft. What do you call? What would you even call it? Gaussian blur on top of the line art, and it looked really nice. So I kind of want to do something like that. That does actually give it a lot of. I don't know. That really makes it pop for me. I don't know. Let's see if we can keep messing around with the multiplying layers to get a better one. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I messed up with the aiming reticle. Okay, that's fine. This one works. Okay, then let's finish up the other few details. And actually, another thing we could do, if we're feeling very ambitious, is we could add some additional color on top. Hang on. This one might need a little bit of. I want to add an additional color on top of the hair so it's not as stark, because I feel like the way it is right now, it's a little bit distracting. But if we cleared it up a little, that'd be a different story, right? Whoops. Interesting. Okay. There's some implications to this. Not sure what they are just yet. That does look a little bit more soft. That's kind of what I was going for. That's good. Then I think for one last thing we could do is just for the hair here, we could introduce a gradient on top. I know I'm doing all kinds of shit in addition to what I said I would do, but if we have a chance to make it look nicer, oh yeah, that already is doing a lot. Hang on, let's see if we can get away with a little bit more. Yeah, okay. Not bad at all. Art style I'm experimenting with. I was not familiar with your game. Could we make parts of it even lighter? No, okay, we're kind of already reaching the upper limit. But that's fine. This is never supposed to be super ambitious to begin with. The fact that it's working this well is a good sign. Okay, and just real quick, we'll add a halftone layer for the pattern on the scarf. Hmm. Okay, how do I... Oh wait, hang on, I got an idea of how to do this. I swear doing that used to be less complicated. Okay, that's one down though. That's one down. And actually, hang on. One last little thing. I want to see if this will work. Alright, we're going to use another gradient just for shading the neck. Yeah, as I thought. We can't really use the same color. But this one will work. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty great. I'm happy with the outcome for this. Alright, let's save that one and move on to the next one. So the next one is from Boss, who had this expression of mid fantome, which is... It looks like she's trying to kill me with her mind a little bit. I've never drawn Mint before, so this is going to be exciting. Now we can step away from flashbang mode. God, just look at her head. I actually really like Mint's set of expressions. She has she has like these very interesting expressions. I actually wanted to do a stream like this before where I would just like sketch people's expressions, and the one that I had in mind most of all was Mint's. Doki being there was just a good kind of way to hop on a trend. I don't know. I feel like the biggest, what do you call it? Like, imagine the size of her damn forehead. We're talking like, in terms of like forehead real estate, we're talking about at least this much, right? Right? Like the at least that much. Like in order to make this happen, I don't know. I think it's good to have a big forehead. Helps you helps you. It indicates whether you have like a huge brain. It could be used. It makes you more like Krillin if you have a huge forehead. Don't you want to be more like Krillin? God. Me, me trying to estimate how much soy sauce to put into my food, at least this much, right? I don't know. I feel like I've definitely gotten like a baseline level of cooking experience where I know how much condiment is too much. I definitely had a phase where I overseasoned my food, but thankfully I've matured and now my sodium levels are. I'm not gonna say they're good. They're probably better. I don't know. You're supposed to eat a lot of potassium if your sodium levels are high, right? If I recall correctly, I think that's got something to do with like nerve impulses or some shit. Like I remember that the way that your nerve impulses work is that you have like potassium and sodium channels, and like your the potassium and sodium in your body will bond to that shit, and that's what'll permit the electric current for the nerve impulse to go through. I'm almost certain that's wrong because the last time I had to review this shit was in high school. But I recall that it has something to do with all that. So yeah, if you're trying to if you're listening to this with the hopes of passing standard level biology in the IB program, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I remember actually doing pretty well in biology class. I feel like I'm making the side locks a little bit too big. Let's edit these a little bit. Honestly, the main thing that I'm wondering about Mint's design, right? Like there's another reference sheet that has like more information on it. But my main question about Mint's design is like how do people consistently get her like mint color correct? Because if I can recall correctly, printing this specific tone is actually rather difficult. Like I remember it has something to do with like colors that can be displayed on a computer, but not on like through traditional printing. I don't know. That's pretty miraculous. Kind of crazy that you can see part of her ear back here. A little bit of it peeking out. I hear you get wax buildup in those. Is that true? I don't have any myself. It's crazy, crazy if true. Then again, I also hear that using a Q-tip incorrectly feels pretty good, so maybe I'm missing out myself. Just jam it in there, it's fine. I don't know, the last time somebody told me that, they had to go to the hospital to get it removed. I'm a little hesitant is all. Let's see. Okay, the frilly maid headdress thingy. Come to think of it, I haven't drawn a whole lot of maids in my art career. Like, I feel like I've drawn some maid-inspired stuff. Like, there's some stuff that it... Well, no, I made a whole 10-page mini-comic featuring 2 robot maids, so maybe I have done my part. This part needs to be a little bit higher. Okay, and then... the hair clip there. What else we got? Oh wow, her head's leaning so far forward, you can't even see the rest of her neck. Okay. There we go. Also, shout out to the big brained Twitter user, person going insane in an anime moment. Actually, that's a good idea. I should use the liquefy tool a little bit to see if I can't maximize this a little. I think we've achieved something very powerful here today. Listen, to be human is to push the limits of what you're capable of to a degree that even you're not sure you'll survive. Of course, I'm not human, so I don't have to do all that shit, but, you know, I'd still like to participate. But yeah, shout out to the person on Twitter who showed up in my For You page who had the absolutely huge brained take of Mint with freckles. I'm going to draw a variant of her with freckles for this one. I have a very, very strong bias towards freckles as a thing. Let's see. So single design ever made cannot be improved. Any design ever made cannot be improved with freckles, and that's a fact. Who doesn't? Freckle enjoyer not understanding why no one would enjoy freckles. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, no single design ever made cannot be improved with freckles, and that's a fact. I see. Also, hi Zed, how you doing? How are you this fine Sunday evening? Nice, me, so many frills. I feel like I should try to use the symmetry brush down here and just save myself a lot of the headache of this. Massacring my nail job right now. Oh, are you trying something new with it? Painting your nails seems like it'd be tough. The weird thing is, right? Like the more I like initially, I thought she was like this expression to me read as like she's mad and she's trying to kill me with her mind. But as I stare at it longer, the more it just looks like panic. No, I just keep getting caught and stuck in between the coats and having to start over. Sounds tough. Okay, wait, hang on. I know how to make it more ambiguous again. I have to droop the eyes a little bit lower. If you fill these in, she looks kind of like a gray. Mars Fantome. Okay, is that everything on her design? I feel like I wonder if I'm missing anything. But yeah, cotton stuck between the coats, huh? Do you use cotton swabs a lot in doing your nails? I've never had to do that myself, so I'm a little bit curious about the process. Just for cleaning up my mistakes. Oh, I see. I make a lot of mistakes. Oof. Yeah, it's tough when it comes to like messy and they're like wet mediums, right? Like clay and like paint. I feel like a lot of the solutions can be just as harmful to the end results, right? Like what you need to do to solve something, if not done properly, like you do something, and this is my experience with the clay stream, right? You do something improperly, and you're like, oh fuck, I have to fix this. But then like if you do the fixing improperly too, it just gets worse. And like you eventually kind of just keep degrading. It's not like in digital art where you can just control Z or even like duplicate your work and try again. That shit sticks with you. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing to not so much practice, but maybe to bear into experience from time to time. Okay, let's flip the canvas real quick before I start because I'm feeling a lot more confident in this one than I did with the Doki one. But you know what I might do actually? I might go down here and just bring up the neck and expand the shoulders a little bit. So here's what let's do. Yeah, okay. I think we're good to go then. Does her? Okay, no, her eyelashes are pretty standard. Not like Doki's flying cleavers. Okay. I remember learning this method for how to do a fringe a long time ago from a tutorial on using like the vector layers for CSP. Like you would just make a straight line for where the fringe would go, and then you would just like cut into it where the hair would part. Hmm. Okay, so it's just gonna spring out from there. Speaking of springing, I, I'm not. I know it's supposed to be like a kind of just an ordinary gradient, but I can't stop thinking of spring onions when I look at her hair. Like that, like you got leek. That's leek to me. It's probably because it's also much greener than I normally think of like mint as being. I don't know. There's a lot of overlap to me between mint and seafoam green as a color. Okay, then over here. On the other hand, that's going to be a lot of fun to do with the gradients that I do, so it'll be a good fit for that. Okay, I need to bring the reference closer. I can't just keep hopping back every time. Okay. I see, I see. God, I feel that. Yeah. I don't know. It's a it mostly happens when I'm drawing on stream because if I'm just drawing by myself, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll just keep hopping back, no problem. But then I'll be like, I've done this bungee jumping type shit for like 5 minutes. Somebody's got to get like motion sickness because of me. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like drawing on stream has made me a lot more considerate of my methods. Okay. I'm not drawing all those cut patterns on here though. That seems like it'll be a little bit annoying. I'm not doing all that. This is a sketch, god damn it. I don't know. Usually, I'm not too worried about keeping things in scope, but because of the kind of purposes of this stream, I did want to keep everything in scope and on topic. Oh right, I wanted to do a symmetry brush at this point, didn't I? Oh well. Okay, and then that's gonna have her ear just kind of poking out back here. Her other ear will probably be a little bit visible. Is it actually visible? You can see you can see like a scrap of it back here. Okay, there's another bit of hair sticking out back here. There we go. Okay, yeah, let's remove the tail here and we'll split the end the other way. Nice. We can have a little bit of extra hair poking out here just to clean that up. Then her matching hair clip. Wait, is it crossed one way or the other? Oh no, I got it right the first time. Let's go. I don't know why, but maybe it's because the Doki Bird one warmed me up. But I feel like I'm having a much easier time with the line art for this one than I did with the Doki's. Yeah, definitely got to reduce the angle on this one as well. Yeah, there we go. That feels a little bit better. Also, it's almost like a little bit cross-eyed, isn't it? Like her eyes aren't exactly pointing in the same direction. It feels like this one's a little bit more to the right. And also a little bit more slower. I don't know, maybe we should give them the kind of anime character losing their mind treatment. You know, just give them the slightest little tilt with the mesh brush here. Or the free transform, I mean. Oh, shoot. I've committed one of the classic errors. I mistook the strap that's for her. I mistook her shoulder strap for the frill on her neck thingy. All right, here's what let's do. Gonna shrink down the neck thingy one, and then I'm gonna pretend like that was on purpose the whole time. Flip that so I can do the other side easily as well. Okay. And then we focus on this actually feels a little better. I feel like I get a little bit lost when the frills are too small for me to place properly. This is a good compromise. I don't know. Broadly speaking, I actually like drawing frills. But it is still a lot of work. So, you know, if we can make our lives easier in that regard, it's always better. Okay, that's gonna kind of fan out a little bit. Like this. That seems about right. Of course, gotta have the little ghost headband thingy. Mint's looking at me like she's the birthday princess and I just ruined her day. I was gonna... Hey, Jupiter. Yeah, I did mention earlier, this one does feel like she's trying to kill you with her mind. She's like trying to telekinetically throw you across a room, and she's not understanding why it's not working. I don't know. Hatred can really make you do anything, but I feel like there are limits to that as well. This strand of hair needs to be a little bit lower. Hey, how you doing, Jupiter? Are you enjoying your Sunday? Let's see. Okay, that's gonna come in like this. I kind of lost my place on where I'm supposed to be with the hair here. Full of beans. Let's go. Yeah, I remember you said something about making lentil soup, right? Is that still going strong? Are you enjoying it? Good lentil soup is it really can't be beat, I'm afraid. It's like a vitamin almost. If you go on too long without having any, you're gonna start getting sick. It's been a hot minute since I've had some lentil soup myself. I need to rectify that pronto. I had a good lentil soup the other day at a Mediterranean place, and I need their soup cruts. Their soup cruts. That's a good one. Yeah. God, what do they put in Mediterranean food that just makes it bang so hard? Like, like if you go to a place called like a Mediterranean grill or some shit, you know you're in for the time of your life. Is it the cumin powder? Is that the secret? I put cumin in a lot of stuff, but I don't. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. Maybe it's like a less is more kind of thing. Add a tomato pureed slash smooth texture. Ooh. I had a tomato and bean dip from a Lebanese deli once, and I'll literally go there now just for those beans. God, beans do so much for us, honestly. And of course, I have a little bit of a bias as a South American cuisine person, right? But it cannot be overstated. A good beaning can save your life. Chickpeas, legumes in general, prepared one way or another. A good dose of that can just really it can turn whatever thread you're hanging on into like a one of those like Home Depot multi-tensile carbine weave ropes. It's been so being so good, it makes you wonder how the British can do all of that. Well, you know, some people have the same materials, but they can't quite follow the instructions. Right? Not everybody has the vision. We shouldn't hold that against them, for the most part. They're mostly white. Is the thing. Yeah, I was trying to not to say that part out loud, but yeah, that's the thing. Is the thing. I have been on a kick of putting sattar seasoning on quick toasty pita chips. That sounds good. Hmm. Yeah. I keep a bag of pork rinds sometimes. In terms of like quick meals to spice up my day. I have been eating furikake rice and pork rinds from time to time if I'm just like desperate for a meal and I don't have much in my pantry. I s- I okay, so at my workplace this week, right? We were doing some training It's mostly been a training week for me. I've had to juggle some other stuff as well, so I wasn't able to fully focus on training. But it is what it is. But the big benefit from this training, and I've told this story to at least like three other people, is that on the first day they gave us food as part of the training. The rest of the days were well, no, they gave us some other food on the other days, but for the first day it was like the big one, right? So what they did for the first day is that they had this big, like almost like buffet style thing of like different casserole trays, and there were different things. There was like a roasted vegetables one. There was one with like a huge thing of grilled meats, and there was one of them that had like this really well seasoned red rice. And let me tell you, when I ate that rice, it was like life changing. Like obviously I've had seasoned rice, but like never like this. And it was just such an experience that when the end of the day came and I noticed that some of the food was still lying there, I was like, "Hey, can we just like take this? Are we allowed to like take these?" And they were like, I mean, yeah, sure. We were gonna like if whatever we you don't take, we were gonna throw out, so you might as well take some. And I was like, "Fuck yes!" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Let me take some with me." And now I have like a huge casserole of this really well seasoned rice. And I've been slowly working through it. There's still quite a bit left. And that's a little concerning because that was this Monday, right? And it's already Sunday. So I gotta finish this rice quick or else it's gonna go bad. But yeah, one of the good things is that I recently remembered I also have like a bunch of seaweed rolls. Or rather, seaweed to make seaweed rolls. So I'm planning on eating that as like an after stream dinner. You gotta press that shit into pucks and keep deep fried with breading. Hmm. I'm not confident in my ability to deep fry. I'm gonna be real with you. I think if I test my ambitions and attempt to deep fry this rice, I'm going to fuck it up. That and like the thing is, I do want to finish it, but I do not want to waste it as a resource. If you leave the rice out in the sun all day, perhaps a red rice beast will be born. Yeah, that's how the Piku Niku stream rice beast was created. That stream was from the future and also from the past. It's a party trick I don't like to trot out too often because if I do it too often, then I'm gonna end up being like somebody's grandpa or some shit in the past. That's how you get fire affinity rice. Actually, come to think of it, I do know that in that like there is a grilled rice ball dish. Hang on, I think it's like literally called like yaki onigiri. And ever since I've seen it, I've wanted to eat one so bad. This is like fire affinity rice to me. And like you brush it with a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of sugar. God, I let me get a bite. Just let me get one bite. I'll be good. Let me get a bite. Making me want to make some clay pot rice. What's that? Hang on. Let me. I'm already on the Google. Let me just look that up real quick. Ooh. Okay, that's. Huh. Okay, well, yeah, clay pot rice is exactly what it sounds like. It's rice you make in a clay pot. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of everything that's happening in here. Eating this in my mind like the end of Baki versus Yujiro. God. But yeah, no, I can't say there's a single thing in this picture that I disagree with. Actually, something that I haven't had back when I was in Ecuador, but I want to try and make now is cocolon, which is roasted rice. Not showing off the good part, which is the completely crushed up bottom. Yeah, I was gonna say like that. It feels like that the rice at the bottom would crisp up like cocolon or like roasted rice. Hang on, maybe if we let me search a little bit further in here. I don't think there's a good picture of the bottom part, but I imagine it looks a little bit like this. But God, yeah, that does it looks a mighty fine. I don't know. I feel like recently I haven't been ambitious enough with my culinary adventures. I feel like there was a time in my life back in university I used to be a lot more adventurous with my cooking. I remember I one time for like Christmas dinner or like New Year's dinner, I made myself that Hawaiian dish, moko loco. Turned out pretty good. So I kind of want to get back to doing crazier stuff with my cooking, but I this is like these open windows are like a den of desires because not only did I have the good looking food, but I also have the Platinum Barks root beer jacket, and that's like a wombo combo of earthly desire. Well, I don't know. I think it's a good thing to have desires every once in a while. It'd be more concerning if you had absolutely no way your life could be improved. Okay. Come on, make it. I know in real life boobs aren't always like equal, but I want to make these at least look kind of even. There we go. That's good enough. We take those. Mishearing that as evil and wondering what kind of breasts you've been seeing. I'm looking. I've been looking at nefarious titties you couldn't even conceive of with your feeble mind. I'm looking at what authorities have been calling the Eye of Sauron of boobs. I'm staring at them things and what the Angra Mainyu of. Okay, you know what I don't think I can take this bit much further. I'm calling it here. Time of death is like what? How far are we into stream? Like an hour ish, an hour and 10 minutes into stream. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too good at raunchy jokes. I can make dick jokes all day, but whenever it comes to boobs, I always feel like I need to chicken out. Coming up on 2 hours. Oof. Okay, and then that's gonna be the shoulder here. Other shoulder back here. Okay, that's gonna go like this. And we do the same thing for this other arm. Can I not just copy and paste this? Not quite. Let's try that again. Yeah, a little lower, a little higher. Okay, I see what happened. I put the shoulder a little too high, so that needs to go a little bit more like this. Ditto for this one. I guess I should also put the ribbon a little bit lower on this one. Yeah, because as it is right now, it would be climbing like up beyond her armpit, and that doesn't. I don't think it works like that. Last time I checked, we didn't have like Rayman limbs. I don't know. Maybe some of you do. I can't speak for everybody. I know I don't have Rayman limbs yet. I feel like that's the only way I can simplify Pabst's design further is to just eliminate the need for limbs. Like my design is already very simple, but if I wanted to simplify it, I'd start to have to removing body parts. And I would do that, right? I would try to do that, but at the same time, I love like having elbows. Not the biggest fan of knees. Maybe I can just remove my arms, but not my legs. Wait, no, it'd be the opposite. I'd remove my legs and not my arms. Yeah, I don't know. Compared to knees, the elbow just has a certain je ne sais quoi. Baki baby edit paths? That's literally just my head, though. You could do that just by knocking the bag of rice off my body. Like, didn't I make a schedule? Hang on, I'm almost certain I've made a lot of schedule art by this point, but I'm almost certain I made one where I was like doing the soul jump dust with my own head. Where is that shit? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, I could just remove the head from my shoulders and call it a day there. Although I guess you'd have to swaddle me in some kind of cloth as well. That's an integral part of the Baki edit, I think. Is just having is not only having the because it's supposed to be like his leg got ripped off in that one, right? Like that was the original thing. Like the edit is just that it's just that the rest of his body is also gone. I'm I'm in the camp of people who thought that was a completely unedited image. I thought that for real, Retsu had his body 80% eliminated, doing some stupid shit like trying to eat a dragon or something, or fighting Yujiro Hanma, which is also a really stupid idea. I think he gets that in the fight against Miyamoto Musashi, actually. Which is a thing that I'm not supposed to know about as somebody who hasn't finished reading the manga, but hey, that's how it goes. Hmm. Let me bring these in a little bit like this. That's what happens with manga series that go on forever. Is just learn about spoilers eventually via osmosis. True. Like for example, that shit with Griffith should have been a big surprise coming into. Well, no, actually, I think they tell you that Griffith betrays Guts like as early as like chapter 3. So that's actually not. I guess knowing what happens in the eclipse is a spoiler. Not really so much like that the eclipse happens. Yeah, I was gonna say Griffith betraying Guts is like a day one kind of thing. What how bad it was, I think, is like the actual surprise because you're like, oh, okay, so he probably just like did some Judas shit and sold them out for 30 pieces of silver. That can't be too bad. And then you see what he actually does, and it's like that's so much worse. That is like, oh my god. I started reading Berserk shortly after Miura passed, and actually getting to see firsthand all the crazy shit that happens in there. Holy. I'm like, I thought that it was bad. I didn't think it was this bad. Berserk fucking rules. I cannot recommend it to anyone. That's yeah. That the saddest thing about like the best manga and stuff that you will ever read is that unless you can successfully telepathically match freaks with someone, you can never ever recommend that shit to them. I cannot, in good conscience, tell anybody to read Chainsaw Man. That's some shit that has to find you. All right. Like the stars need to align, and you need to be the one to seek it out. I can guide you as much as to the threshold, but the first step you will have to take yourself. I'm afraid. Okay, I'm gonna give her a little bit of her neck back. She's earned it. All right, let's flip the canvas real quick just to make sure that we're not doing something catastrophically wrong. I feel like we'd probably make this hair strand a little bit thicker. Probably need to close this one up a little bit too. Speaking of which, I heard Closer by the Chainsmokers for the first time in like a decade. Right? I remember that shit being crazy huge in high school, and I cannot. It's one of those things where you're like, man, this must go hard as fuck if you've never heard it ad nauseum. That's happened to me for a couple of artists. Like, I did not willingly listen to the Chainsmokers Closer but ad nauseum. That was some shit that happened just naturally because everybody in my high school was playing that stupid ass song. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm saying I have a grudge with it. Same with Bruno Mars. I feel like you could probably like Bruno Mars just fine, but I was listening. I accidentally ended up listening to him for like 3 hours in a row one time, and we are not on speaking terms anymore. All right, put on your sunglasses. I'm about to put in the white background again. The handy thing about Mint's outfit is that it does kind of come with pre-equipped. What do you call monochromatic separations. That's gonna make my life a lot easier. I forgot to draw the frills on the armbands. That can be easily resolved though. Okay. Am I not on the right layer? What? Oh, I'm absolutely on the wrong layer. Hang on. So yeah, there we go. Okay. We could do that for the hair too, I feel. What might be more effective actually is to do the back of the hair first and then do the kind of front part of the hair. Okay. Now the rest of it. At robot spotted, exterminate on sight. We're out here killing Kronos. I'm here playing the full access version of Hades 2 without even trying. that's that's how cracked I am. It's Kronos too. It's like it's got two S's to it. Bro thinks he's him. Okay. And the hair strands don't actually have one. They just have like a random one running through. Not the hair strands, the twin tails. I forgot the other twin tail, didn't I? Whoops. My fault. We can add that in real quick. How hard could it be? This is not a twin tail. This is a single child tail. Copy paste that motherfucker. No. I could do it. I could do it. Trust. There we go. All right. So now we have to do like a light blue for the ribbons. Okay. Now let's desaturate this brown here so we can add that too. I'm really enjoying this art style. I'm definitely not going to make it like a regular thing, but I don't know. Maybe I should. I'll have to think about it. It's nice to just use it for sketching because it has like the ability to be more complex, but I can just keep it simple as well. It's useful. I will say, I've been thinking about like my goals as a streamer, and I don't think this is gonna be it, but I do think it'd be funny if I became a sufficiently renowned artist that I'm like the hungry clicker of VTuber art. Because I feel like whenever hungry clicker makes art of a fighting game character, that person that the mains of that character become like gain like the mandate of heaven for a brief time. So I don't know. I feel like that would just be fun to do. Or rather, it's something that I'd like if I had like a great like if that would be like I want to be number one. I think that would be the metric for me. But there's a lot of things in my way before I can do all that. Well, one brick at a time. We'll get there someday. For the time being, I just got to worry about streaming more than once a week. Unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, it doesn't seem like that's going to be possible. It's rough out here, but I'm hanging on. Yeah, I'm locking in. Like I said, there's an opportunity for me to make a tremendous amount of money if I lock in for like 8 or so months. So I'm going to try and do that if possible. Yeah, 8 months is a while, huh? Your goals are gonna be rigid by then. They're gonna apply WD-40 to my ass. It'll be a whole thing. I'm gonna end up in one of them restoration videos. It's gonna be great. It'll be fantastic for the content. But yeah, I agree that it's not optimal. But eh, you gotta do what you gotta do. In any case, it's for the sake of my future. I'll have to work hard. Not to mention, if the other side to it as well is if I can pull it off, I'll be able to brag about it for the rest of my life. You need to understand that that can be a surprisingly motivating factor. But yeah, enough about that. Oop, hang on. Let's get back to drawing here. Should I like Add a very light blue. Yeah, it feels pretty right. Pretty right, I think. What I do want to try and do, I'm gonna have to see if I can pull this off here. I kind of want to do this using a halftone. And increasing the frequency. Could I also just use the mint color? Hmm. I don't know if I like this one or the ordinary, kind of like more human skin tone better. We'll go for this for now. But yeah, learning how to abuse gradients has been a real big help for just making stuff quickly. Overdoing it is also bad, but if it's just for little things like this, it's valid. I'm not gonna worry about that too much. Okay, is there anything else we're missing? Right, the freckles. I forgot about those. Almost. I almost forgot about those. I think for the freckles, we can probably just make them. Hang on. Let's see. Particle size, lower. Particle density, low. Direction of particle. Thickness. Oh, we can probably increase the thickness. Hang on. Alright, so now what we do with these is we're just going to copy and paste the heck out of them. Okay. Hold. And one more should be fine. Okay, so then what we do, hold that, and then maybe with a gradient erase? No, the soft brush is probably better. Maybe that's slightly low. I don't know how to render freckles too well in this kind of style. I think this might be the best one. And you know what? I think I'm gonna. They turned me back around on the color for the kind of spook here. Hang on. There we go. Or actually, hang on. What if I? Yeah, I think that works pretty well for the expression. Hang on. Let me merge these to a new layer. Where's the hang on. There we go. Let me just round out her cheeks a little bit. That might be a little bit too rough. Hang on. Can I decrease the strength on this? Yeah, alright, that works. Wait, I forgot. Hang on. You know what? Forget this. I like the one that I made well enough, but I will say I forgot to do the thing with the line art that I wanted to do earlier. Hang on. Oh yeah, this one does make her look a little bit more ghost-like. Oh yeah, I guess I should also change up the color of the line art itself, huh? That feels a little bit too delicate. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. All right. I think we got time for one more, probably. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to break this into like a multi-stream thing, but I think this is good. I like doing this. It's nice to just like start something and then be able to finish it in one sitting. So small sketches like this are fun. Yeah, this is the one uploaded by Ree or submitted by Ree. I've never actually drawn Mume before, come to think of it. But yeah, it's this kind of like dead inside type expression. The deader. If I may speak candidly, right? Like I know realistically speaking, Corona would destroy me, but I think out of all the people in Hall Life, the one that I fear the most is Mume. Deader sounds like some kind of shit common writer would fight for real. But yeah, no, I think Mume is the person that scares me the most in all of Hall Life. She's nice, like she's like, and it's very irrational too because she seems like such a pleasant person, but also like she does all these things that make me afraid of her. Like for example, the fact that she drew this shirt design herself. Like normal people don't have those kinds of ideas. I think that's also. I think that's the part of me that respects her the most. So, like being able to, because she's also really cute, but also she has that side to her. I feel like being able to integrate both of those and balance them so well without making that like your whole thing is an impressive feat. I don't know. Like I feel like just because of the fact that it's like mostly internet thing, right? Jokes in the fan base for especially Hall Live, I feel like they tend to get run into the ground. But I don't know. Maybe she's put her foot down on it a couple times. I don't know. But yeah, I do wish I had seen more of her streams. Yeah, with a fan base that big, it's inevitable. I will say one thing that rings true to this day is that I wish more of them had noses. Sometimes it's very hard to tell with these girls. Like I know where it should be, right? Like I understand like it's supposed to be around here. But like it's this tiny little dot. What can I do with that? Tell the modelers, hey, give them a nose. I think if I did that, they would actually start to combust. I think maybe they're just like all kind of like Slenderman type people. I feel like maybe it's like one of those like signification type issues where if you learn to get really good at live 2D rigging and also drawing live 2D model, your nose kind of just automatically disappears from the world, and that's why you stop being able to conceive of them. Oh, yeah, this is the brush that I made with V's caricature. I still consider that's one of the funniest things I've ever done. What the V brush? Maybe. Yeah, remember the V Goku drawing that I made using entirely this brush? And the thing is, like, because it has so many like ridges, right? It actually works pretty well as a brush. I think if I squash the image down just a little bit, like if I made it instead of this more like this, I don't know, but it works, and that's the funny part. Like it can have its imperfections as long as it works. The legacy, the dream, it lives on. Okay, over here. I do. I will say that the fact that both Mume and Fauna's like casual outfits ended up being like these punk rock Midwest emo type beat outfits is honestly awesome. Like this is such a fun idea for an outfit. Okay, just the choker there. Oh, is that supposed to be like barbed wire, or is that just? Oh, it's like melting. Interesting. Also, I am gonna have to simplify the heck out of that owl pendant. I'm not drawing all that, sister. Okay, and it is like the one with the angry eyebrows. Or actually, you know what would be really funny? Hang on, is if I also gave the owl the expression. Okay, okay, I see, I see. Okay, the rest of the gear is probably hidden behind the owl. I don't know why these shoulder blades are kind of messing me up. Or are these? Well, I guess it'd be a trapezoid for this one. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, there we go. I think I was accidentally making her too buff. And normally I would do that for free, but like, I don't know. I'd rather try to stay on model as best as I can right now. Buff Mume isn't real. She can't hurt you. Buff Mume three rooms away, holding a gavel the size of my head, the size of a surfboard. Honestly, I don't know why. It's very easy for me to like. I know that, for example, like Buff Amelia is a thing. Is Amelia Buffson is a thing, right? I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just because I haven't seen proof of concept. Maybe it'll be easier once I actually see like the idea in motion. But I feel like Buff Mume doesn't make nearly as much sense as like Buff Ame. Like I feel like Amelia should get absolutely ripped and start and be able to crush my head between her index and thumb like a grape. That makes sense for her. Mume, I feel like it's more like the type to like work out at the library and destroy me that way. She's gonna do some Roko's Basilisk shit and make a brain clone of me to put through hell. Recently, they had a spelling bee, right? Did anybody particularly like dominate that event, or was there no particular like champion? Because I know the Japanese girls had a quiz show one time, and I think like Choco got the most points out of anybody. But I feel like we haven't had like a sort of big brain measurement event like that for the EN side just yet. The spelling bee stream was insane, mainly for the Muppets version of them all. I did see that. That seems very charming. I like that idea. More streamers should be allowed to be kind of Muppet-ish. Of course, I have some personal bias towards that, so take that as you will. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I see. Also, I need to move her head just a little bit to the right for it to fit on the neck properly. But yeah, I did like the idea of each of them having like a Muppet counterpart. That seems fun. I know for April Fools, a streamer called Jersey Beezy, she did a thing with some of her pals where they pretended to be like this like farm animal themed VTuber generation. It was like a very high production value bid. I respect it, and yeah, that had a similar vibe to it. Should I draw the evil guy? Can't I know I can, but should I? Don't know about this one, folks. I'm having my doubts. The doubter. Why did she draw that anyway? Like, why did like was it ever explored why she did that, or was she just possessed briefly? Why is Slenderman with an eyes and mouth on her on here? This guy needs to be a little bit smaller. And also, we can probably do this a little bit just to make the perspective make a little bit more sense. Yeah, out of everybody, Mume has had like the least complicated hair and everything, but her clothes are, but her bust is a little bit more complicated. You know, the part under her head. I'm gonna stretch my wrists real quick. Might as well drink some water while I'm at it. Right on. Oh, right. I'm supposed to be using. I forgot that I had to switch back the color. All right. Okay. I think our nose also needs to be pushed a little bit further back. You know, the part that we drew. I mean, okay, then move that down. Let's try this part again. Maybe drawing the eye first would be easier. Or maybe we should just start with the other parts of the hair. I'm just trying to figure out how to do the colored parts of the hair. Okay, that's gonna be that big white chunk there. Okay, this is gonna be that little black zigzag there. Come on, bud. Okay, that's better. Sometimes I just say "come on, bud" to like my own brain, like a car that's not gonna start. I don't know. Have you ever like I don't know. Sometimes when you're like think, come on, think. It's like actually doing the opposite. It's like trying to not think of a pink elephant, right? I don't know. Like I've never understood why people in movies say that and such because I not once has being like think harder actually helped me think harder. I always treated my brain and my conscious as two separate entities. One co-signed, 100%. Yeah, like I understand that the me that's thinking and the me that's like processing information are two entirely are like the same being. But I'm also it's almost like they work in different departments. Those two fellows are not like they're not like cubicle buddies. They are like on opposite ends of the office. Me and like my brain that holds me. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see what we need to do here. It's also kind of like depending on how like you're performing as well. I feel like because I only really have problems with like my brain as an entity when shit's not going smoothly. Because otherwise, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm the goat. But then other times, it's like, oh man, why are we so washed? We succeed as a team, we suffer individually. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to pass responsibility onto a different department for their screw ups. Applying inter-office politics to the workings of the human mind is probably not the healthiest approach to psychology. But hell, it's what I'm pretty. It's something that I'm familiar with. So you gotta use your best point of reference. I like how detailed Mume's eyelashes are. Like these look like they are very well done. Okay, then twist that into a braid here. I should probably look at the actual way. I mean, that's not very helpful, actually. I was gonna say I should actually look at her model to see how the braid works, but it's a little bit difficult to make out the finer details. I'm lucky because as a kid, I actually had a hobby of braiding together cords of string. Like there were like these plastic cords that my mom used to get for me, and I would just they were like these very like rubbery ones, and she would just like get these for me, and I would just spend hours braiding them into a longer rope. You know, using three to make a braid. It wasn't particularly complicated, but it was a fun way to spend my time, and it was something to do with my hands. The thing is, at that time, we lived on the 14th floor of an apartment building, and what I would often do for fun is that I would hang the braided cord because I used to make it into like one really ridiculously long braid. Like I would make new braids and then I would just tie that to the end of the ultra braid. And so I would hang it out of the window and I would go downstairs off to the side of the apartment building and look to see how far I'd gotten down through the building. I think I almost got to like the seventh floor at some point. God, those were the days. I hated living in that place, but it had its moments. For example, there was this cafe near where we lived, but that had a really good what do you call like a brunch spot that made these awesome paninis, and I would ask my parents if we could go to there for brunch on from time to time. Yeah, I think the place is called like Spoons or something. No, it was absolutely called Spoons. Okay. And the rest of the eyelash is gonna go around here. Okay, there we go. Also, I'm gonna lower the armpit part here. There's not enough space for a shoulder the way it is now. Okay. I think that's the top part of the head mostly done, I think. I forgot the top. I forgot literally the top part of the head. I think I meant to say the head originally, but I think the one part that I accidentally ended up mentioning was the one part that wasn't done. So let's do that now. Maybe that's my subconscious telling me that I'd missed a spot. Who knows? I feel like the Ahoge is actually a little bit longer. And also it's a little bit more slanted this way. Okay. Nice. God, Shirley does look miserable here, doesn't she? I wonder what the context for the original screenshot is. She looks like all her hope has been destroyed. We've all been there. God. I remember the one Toku stats graphic that I don't think I will ever be able to get out of my mind is the one that's like 360 No Hope talking about frickin' Kamen Rider Snipe. Just because 360 No Hope is such a powerful play on words. Or like hope has been eradicated, like in Cruelty Squad. God, Cruelty Squad is such a fantastic game that I have not played for more than 3 hours. I tried playing Cruelty Squad. I did not enjoy it. I like it in concept. I enjoy Cruelty Squad conceptually. I do not enjoy playing Cruelty Squad. On all levels and except physical, Cruelty Squad is one of the best games ever made. Also, I didn't even notice that the little buckles on her belt were heart bits. That's so cute. Okay, this one does have a couple of studs on there. Okay, and there's another one back here. I do like how easy it can be to mess with perspective when it comes to basic shapes. I don't know, something very satisfying about manipulating a heart in just a few strokes to make it look like it's facing in an entirely different direction. Take another look at the. Okay, so it has a little pendant coming off the middle of the choker. There we go. Okay, as for the choker itself, okay, I think I understand the structure of the lace around it. Okay, then over here. Yeah, it's just adding a little extra diamond in between the two, in between the dip here. That's pretty easy to do. I hope that doesn't make my life a nightmare later when I'm adding the shadows and everything. Okay. Now for the owl pendant, and then actually, maybe we should probably do the lettering and the creepy, the weird guy here first. I don't know. I kind of want to do the weird guy first, just so we can be rid of him. Just have that off our list for now. I have an idea for how to tackle this guy. I don't know. He's kind of grown on me a little bit in a sort of like in like a sort of ugly endearing way. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's the way that I'm drawing him. He just looks like he's really happy to be here, rather than trying to menace me. I don't know. I think in a different world we could have been friends. Me and this weird, creepy guy. But probably not. Okay, then that's gonna come in like this. Okay, then that's gonna come out like this. And this. I have a couple of paint splatters that I have saved on my phone. I need to turn those into a brush or like some kind of image texture, just so I don't need to ever have this situation again where I need to have a splatter and I need something for that quickly. Because I have some ink blots saved on my hard drive that I can use for that, but it's a little bit of a hassle to go retrieve those every single time. Okay, and then the kind of heavy metal lettering here. If I didn't know any better, I think that was the Balatro logo font. It might be, for all I know. Did Nanashi Mume accidentally predict the existence of Balatro? The greatest thread, locked after 400 pages of heated debate by moderators. For somebody who's never been on a forum in his entire life, created it herself, yeah. Like, let me ask you, have you ever seen the creator of Balatro, whose name I don't know, and Nanashi Mume in the same room together at the same time? There you go. Man, this song goes really well with this outfit, actually. Oh yeah, I saw that recently because they were introducing that stupid ass DJ thing. Twitch has been thinking about cracking down the on streams that have like a lot of music as their core element when it rolls out. And I just gotta say, I am clean as hell. They are going to find nothing on this on this VOD. Unless we happen to have some rando hater who just wants to snitch. But the chances of that happening are very slim. I don't have haters. I don't think. If somebody's out here trying to hate on me, I have to question like the use of their time. Frankly, like it's not even that I'm offended that you're my hater. I just wonder if like you're really this is the hill you're hoping to die on. The sub 200 followers on Twitch streamer, that guy, you're hating that guy. Like I just have to question your integrity and your commitment to the cause. I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible. The shirt reminds me of Lord English Homestuck. I can see it. You're not crazy. I can see that. I can 100%. Let me pull this motherfucker's mug up. I see it. I see it. I see exactly what you mean. Really don't like seeing him shirtless though. I'm glad that he used to wear that stupid ass giant coat over his body, but yeah. God, I still maintain that the funniest part of Homestuck was when John accidentally went into Caliborn's dimension and started beating the shit out of him. I don't know. That's just really funny to me. It was deserved as a thing. Like John was 100% in the right to beat the shit out of Caliborn in that scenario. Like I know he's a little freak who never was taught the concept of empathy, but he also is a guy that sucks and he's causing problems like in the immediate time right now. Like how often does the protagonist of a story get to go back in time before the villain was was like a credible threat and just get to beat the shit out of him? That's why John's the goat. Okay, here is what let's do. I'm going to first put on the color for the line art. Well, I guess the first thing I should do is flashbang everybody. But yeah, this way, what we can do from there is to... Let me change it up a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit warmer, more saturated. But yeah, what that'll enable me to do is to do a fun style. He looks so goofy without teeth. All right, all right, all right. We're serious here. We're locked in. Yeah, I know this method of drawing teeth where if you want to make them look really messed up, what you can do is you can put in the black first and then put in the teeth, in the white of the teeth. That might be too much, actually. How many teeth does the top row have? All right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's an even 6 on each side. So we have to plan accordingly. Can't be doing that thing where like you try to make a sign, but then you make the first few letters too big, and then you're stuck trying to squeeze the rest in there. Like John Cook as the bus driver. I maintain that meme has made some of the most incredible progress in literary criticism. Because sometimes you notice that, yeah, the writers do just try to cram in a character. Okay, that's 4, 5, and 6. Four, 5, 6. Alright, so here then what we can do is we can just add a little bit of shading for the teeth. Yeah, that's working pretty well. I do want to try and Yeah, there we go. Like this kind of color for the gums here. I see, okay. Honestly, I can't stop looking at this and thinking of that one edit of that somebody made of the main villain from Jujutsu Kaisen being edited to just have like two front teeth. Like he's missing most of his front teeth. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up. Come on, where's it? Like somebody edited a picture of this guy to just have these the two top teeth. It's so goofy looking, and now all I can see is this. All I can see it. The truth is hidden within the deception. And apparently that's just something that one guy did. Like he just wanted to do that because he thought it was funny, and now people are doing it to people left and right. Your stand doesn't the character you stand doesn't go to the dentist often enough. It's kind of an insane flex if you really think about it. I might make a version of this where I have to censor the guy here. I feel like he's a little bit distracting. Okay, and then we're just gonna add a gradient here. Okay. God, I really hope that me drawing this guy doesn't become the thumbnail of this stream. I've zoomed in on him a lot, so I'm a little bit. I feel like I'm rightfully concerned. Oh well. It's in the hands of fate, at least. Okay, then over here, select this color gamut, and we'll just bump this a bit towards purple. There we go. Interestingly enough, I didn't notice until just now that the other sleeve on this shirt has this kind of maroon color. Hmm. The area scaling doesn't seem to be working as well as it normally does. I guess I can't really notice it most of the time, so it's not really a problem. I wonder how the monochromatic effect that I've been going for most of the time is gonna go with the outfit here because it's mostly dark tones, so I feel like it'll almost look fully colored, but I don't know if that'll end up looking a little bit unnatural instead. Well, who knows? It's too early to worry about that just yet. So I think I might need to select the color I've used for the belt here and turn it more towards red. There we go. I was worried about it clashing a little bit with the color of the line art. Looks good? Nice. Okay. Let's finish up the lettering here before we move on to the shading. Oh, and it has a white outline. I didn't even realize that. Hang on. Okay. Hang on, I need to lower the closing gap on this wand select just so I can make sure I got everything here. I think we should. Normally, I'd say we don't include the eyes, but I think in this case we should. I still missed a spot, huh? Oh, that's fine. Maybe I should bump up the saturation, actually. Okay, then over here. And actually, I think something that I should do to make her look truly dead inside is I shouldn't actually include the irises or nothing. I'm just going to include, like, her eyes as blank slates. I also have an idea for how to do this a little bit effectively as well. Okay, and then we're going to use the, what do you call the half toning layer, but we're, instead of using the circle, we're actually going to use the line, angle that 90 degrees. There we go. Okay. Oddly enough, I think for the front part of the hair, it might be more effective to actually do the opposite for what we did here, where we actually make the top part darker than the bottom part. And actually what we could do as well is a soft eraser and just erase this very, very top bit. It's crazy how much Mume looks like Fauna if you just like completely decolor their hair. They look very similar. Do they have the same artist or something? The face of someone reading a terrible chat message? God. Probably same designer? Let me look that up actually. Hang on. Let's see. Sarah's Fauna, character designer, illustrator Asagi Tosaka, and for Mume, it is not the same guy. It's some dude named Azure. Huh. Actually, yeah, looking at them side by side, you can't tell that they're not the same designer. Huh. Neat. I don't know. Maybe hang on. I feel like the shadow on the face here might be a bit too harsh still. Maybe making it a different color might help as well. Yeah, that definitely feels a little bit better. Okay, same deal for this one. Add a gradient for the shadow. Okay, as for the... What's going on here, bud? Hang on. Did something happen there? What's going on with this guy? That gradient used to be a lot different. This better not be some horror movie shit. I swear to God. Alright, let's see. Foreground to background. He invited the scary man into our world through drawing him. Well, that's not fair. I wasn't the first guy to do it. How was I supposed to know that had happened? Maybe he's a feminist. That's why nothing bad happened to Mume when she drew him. He has standards. He's a scary nightmare person, but he has standards. God. Horror movie character who complains about this like that? God. I do feel like I was supposed to be the character in a horror movie that dies first at some point, but I've just been funny enough that I was allowed to live. So now I just kind of have that karma rolling around in my back pocket, but it's not really affecting me anymore. I don't know. It would be kind of funny if like the horror movie monster only affected guys because the horror movie monster happens to be a feminist. They might be a horrible abomination from outside our cognition of reality, but you know what? They are not gonna be. They're not gonna be that guy. You know. Okay, let's add the color for this one. I think for this one, I'm gonna make it like a red. Oh yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe not for this part here, right? Like, hang on. We need to use this judiciously. But yeah, for like the face, for example, this looks really good. It just doesn't work so well for like this character here. But yeah. All right, I think we're gonna end it here for today. We've actually made a good bit of progress. I had like 5 more that I wanted to do, so I think what we might do is like next week we might just knock out a few extra, and then we do this one like 1 week after that. We finish off this project 1 week after that. I'm happy to do that. Nice stream, lots of good art. I'm really happy with how it came out. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, thanks to everybody who came by the stream. I really appreciate it. I'm also very grateful for everybody who submitted an expression. I have them all in here. These ones that are labeled like extra 1, extra 2, extra 3 are just like backups. But it really made me happy that everybody wanted to see like a face from one of the people that they watched. Well, with that, I'm going to be off. Thanks to everybody once again, and I will see you all next week. Later. Bye.